What up, everybody in the YTBC? Just doing a quick live because I had planned to have some videos up by this time of the week, and to be honest, I haven't had any time to really do anything. Actually, over the weekend, I had recorded. I know I recorded at least one video. I want to say I recorded two though. I got to go back to my phone and check. This week's been a little bit of a blur. Not really been I don't want to say not a good week, but it's been a week that's, it's been kind of tough to get anything done. Just different things that have been scheduled, and just got to take care of the priorities, So, but I had planned on talking about a couple things this week. I have some time right now. A little bit, me and my girlfriend, we got to head out, but I figured while she's getting ready, I'm already ready. I figured I'd just go ahead and do a quick live and talk about a couple things that I normally would have made a video for, but um, just haven't had the time to record the shit. Like I said, I still got at least one that I recorded already. I just need to make a video, and it's probably gonna be like the last ones I did. Pretty simple, just me talking, not really a whole lot of editing. So, but just want to go ahead and say congratulations to Dillian White for his uh fourth round KO victory over Alexander Povetkin. There was a lot of people who were writing White off. I was not one of those people. Um, because I remember in the first fight, he was able to put Alexander Povetkin down. Being that he was able to put him down, I had him winning the fight. Um, I figured, he would just correct his mistakes and win in the rematch, which is exactly what he did. One thing that I am noticing is a lot of hate for White for some reason. For some reason, there's people who just don't want to give White any credit, regardless of what he does. He has a really good resume at heavyweight. Um, I think a lot of people don't see it that way just because they're not really familiar with these other heavyweights. Basically, if Deontay Wilder or Anthony Joshua hasn't fought them, then they don't know who they are. But there's more to the heavyweight division than that. Hey, what up, Haplotype Zero? Yeah, Haplo, I'm just doing a quick live. What up, the Boxing Jedi? Boxing Jedi, I enjoyed talking about wrestling with you last night. Um, Unfortunately, my phone only allowed me to go so far. So I really wanted to stay on longer. What up, Sporting Advantage? But yeah, let me get back to what I was saying. So yeah, it seems like White just can't get credit no matter what he does from some people, you know. Um, I mean, it is what it is. I would venture to say that White is probably the most hated heavyweight currently. Most hated, and when I say hated, I don't mean like people hate him. People hate on him, and there is a difference. They, for whatever reason, they refuse to give him credit, regardless of what he does. Um, and yeah, it's to me, it's ridiculous. Like you got people who said, "Oh, he's gonna get knocked out again. He's gonna get his ass whooped." And then when he beats the guy that they said is gonna whoop his ass, then they're not impressed. you know, like I'll give you an example. Hurd versus what's his J Rock. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't give J Rock much of a chance. I didn't. I didn't give him much of a chance. I thought he was gonna either lose by decision or even possibly get knocked out. What did he do? He won by decision comfortably. Comfortably. So here's the thing though. Because I thought he was outmatched, and it turned out I was wrong, and he beat Heard what seemed easily. I was impressed, and I gave him all the credit in the world. But you can tell where a lot of these guys lie. When I say lie, I'm talking about not lying. They're doing that too, but a lot of them they just have an agenda. The reality is, some people, the only people they want to give credit to are heavyweights, or I mean, sorry, are to Americans. I meant sorry. um, but yeah, I think it's just crazy, like how people are, and I see he's not the only one it happens with. I see it with Bud too. I saw somebody say that Bud was going to get knocked out by Kell Brook. Then he beats Kell Brook. Well, Kell Brook was a bum. Okay, so you thought he was good enough to beat Bud. Hold on. Y'all bear with me. I'll be right back. All right, so this shit never fails. If I'm not doing nothing, nobody needs to talk to me. As soon as I go live, the phone calls start coming in. Everybody wants to catch up. Uh, in this particular case, it was just a random phone number that I don't have saved. So if it's important, don't leave a message. Yeah, you're right. It's always with the competitive fighters. Like it's like these fans these days, they don't want to see competitiveness. They just want to see they want to get flexed on, which to me is weird as fuck. Like it's not a good thing when somebody flexes on you, but that's what these fans want to that's what they want. They want to go on it rather than see these guys mix it up like they're supposed to. They rather watch them beat a guy that they know they're going to beat, and then go and check out their social media so they can see what their latest purchases are. What the latest haul was at the mall, what the latest car is that they bought, what the latest house, the latest TV, you know what I'm saying? And it's like none of that is entertaining to me. Like, don't get me wrong, I hope these guys make money, and I hope that they, are able to live fulfilling lives that they're content with. But I don't benefit from your TV, your car, your house. Like I said, I hope you get all those things because of what you put on the line in the profession that you picked. But I don't give a shit to see it. That's just me being honest. What up, MMA champ? What up, Chain with Ice? What up, BG London? But yeah, I just feel like that's what the fans are about these days. It's like they want to see a guy whoop another guy's ass, like in a non-competitive way. They want it to be completely outmatched, and then the next thing they want to do is jump to Twitter and jump to Instagram and anywhere else they can to see what shit that boxer's gonna talk. Which there's nothing wrong with that, but then next is okay, what are they buying with the money they just made? What are they, and to me that's not what the sport is supposed to be about. These guys, there's gonna be some sacrificial lambs in there. All right. It's always been that way. But there should be some competitive fights. But these fans, they're just content with their guy getting the belt and not challenging himself. Not they don't want to see him in a fight that's a true 50-50 fight. They want to see him in a fight where they know he's going to win. Don't get me wrong, it's okay to have a showcase fight here and there, but that shouldn't be all that we're getting, especially with as little as these guys fight. But yeah, White, I don't get it why people don't want to give him credit. What up, Alex Ramirez? But but yeah, to me that's just sickening. So, but yeah, they do it to Bud Crawford as well. They do it to they used to do it to Triple G. Not so much anymore because Triple G is kind of become what they're into, which is a diva. Um, and I apologize if you're a Triple G fan, but I'm just calling it how I see it. I think Triple G has become somewhat of a diva. But back when he was trying to become undisputed, and that's the thing that gets me. It's the fans that say that they're all about undisputed. And the first thing they're gonna do is hate on the one guy who's trying to make undisputed happen. It happened with Bud. He wanted to become undisputed at 147. It happened with AJ when he was well, I mean, he's still trying to become undisputed. Um, it also happened. Anybody who Triple G when he was trying to become undisputed. Anybody who's trying to become undisputed, they want to hate on. And then and people who have become undisputed. Bud became undisputed at 140. They hate on him. Usyk became undisputed at cruiserweight. He's overrated. But yet you're all about undisputed. Get out of here. Like keep it real. Don't lie to me. Like it ain't gonna get you nowhere because I don't eat the bullshit. I can see what you're all about. You could tell me you're about undisputed, but when you're telling me that you hope this undisputed fight don't happen, yeah, you're full of shit then. You're full of shit. Let me take a look at the comments real quick. I'm gonna move on to another topic. No, Haplo, I'm dead ass. I'm dead ass. Um, Haplo. All right, so we look at the YTBC, right? I have like 735 subscribers, something like that right now. Okay. There are some channels that are bigger than me. Jedi, I know he has like 2,200. You got some channels that are even bigger than him. You got channels that are, um, you got Sporting Icons, who's a great channel. He has over 50,000, which is good. All right. Um, let's talk about Ellie Setback. All right, so Ellie Setback, don't get me wrong, he asks legitimate boxing questions as well. But when he interviews these boxers, a lot of times he's asking them about their watch, he's asking them about stupid shit that don't got nothing to do with boxing. And I would say that's a good 75% of his content. Um, look at how many subscribers that dude has. I'm gonna look it up right now. I'm on my tablet, so normally I can't do that, but I'm gonna do that right now. I don't know why my YouTube is being slow as fuck. I'm gonna check it though. Just give me a second. What up, Nick Harmer? All right, so I just checked it. So Ellie Seckback, the pocket watcher, the guy who asks about all the bling and shit, has almost 600,000 subscribers. You know, That's what I'm saying. Like the fans, they care about this stupid shit. They don't want to see competitiveness. They want to see a one-sided fight, and then they want to see Ellie Setback asking them about their newest watch and their newest purchases. You know, if the fan base was more about the actual boxing, guys like Blood Boxing, the Boxing Librarian, Sporting Icons, as I mentioned before, would have way more subscribers. But we come on here and we talk Mr. Boxing Today too. That's another one. Like that guy is pure boxing, mostly heavyweight, but it's boxing nonetheless. As many guys as you see go to bat for AJ, Tyson Fury, and Deontay Wilder, he should have around 600,000 subscribers. But the reality is this, they don't actually care about the division. They just care about the one guy or these three guys. Most of them can't even tell you more than three guys that Deontay Wilder has fought. And that's sad. That's sad. But yeah, almost 600,000 subscribers for the guy who asks bullshit questions. And those of us who actually talk about boxing, I mean, there's some that do better than others, but come on now. Sporting Icons, who's a phenomenal channel, has way less than Nelly Setback. So that's just to put in perspective. You know, like a lot of the bigger channels are just channels that tell fans what they want to hear. They talk about bullshit and collect super chats. And hey, I'm not hating on the super chats. If people are willing to support you financially, there ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that's what a lot of these fans are looking for. They're looking for somebody to spoon feed them the shit they want to hear. Spoon feed them bullshit, stuff about, the latest car that, some boxer uh bought or whatnot. Like dead ass. I remember when there was some kind of talk about um Tank Davis and Crawford and a lot of us in the comments we're talking about Crawford's achievements, becoming undisputed, getting the title first fight at 147, doing his best to try to unify the division. You got some idiot talking about, oh, well, Tank drives a Mercedes and Crawford drives a Toyota Prius or some bullshit like that, or a Ford Focus, I think it was. And it's like, all right, where does that have any relevancy to what we're talking about here? So, I mean, I wish I was kidding when I say that that's what these fans are looking for, but that's the truth. They're looking for that bullshit, you know. Another thing I want to talk about real quick was the Wasserman. Apparently, Wasserman has acquired the Sutherlands, their, you know, their whole boxing outfit. That's how I understand it. Um, that's gonna be huge. I think that's gonna be huge. That's gonna make a very big difference in the sport about that. That's gonna change the landscape for the sport of boxing, in my opinion. I'm hearing a lot of talks about, oh, well, this could put Matchroom out of business. This could put PBC out of business. This could put, and those are all possibilities. I wouldn't be shocked if there was some casualties as far as like promotional outfits and businesses within the sport of boxing that are going to suffer. It's kind of like, give you an example. I live I live in Central Florida, so the easiest thing for me to relate this to would be Orlando. All right, I don't live in Orlando, but I live a little over an hour away, and I could tell you, there was a time where there was a lot of hotels that were making bank in Orlando because it's a tourist. Kissimmee in Orlando, it's a tourist. Those are tourist areas. You know, so we got anytime you have like a real touristy place, a lot of businesses are going to try to capitalize on that. And it's going to be a lot of hotels, a lot of social sideshow attractions and shit like that, right? Okay, so Disney start Disney started to expand their hotels, and same thing with Universal Studios. They both started expanding their hotels. Like Disney, when they first opened, they only had two. Today they have 15. They have greatly expanded in that area. Well, now if you drive through Orlando and Kissimmee, what you're going to find is a lot of abandoned hotels and motels because of because of the expansion that they've done. This could be a similar thing that happens with Wasserman joining in on, getting in on the boxing action. Now, as for me, I like the zone. I like Eddie Hearn. I like Matchroom. Um, I, I like Top Rank. I'm not the biggest fan of PBC, but I don't hope they go under. I just hope that they change the way they do things. I'm not a huge Golden Boy fan, but same thing. I don't necessarily want Golden Boy to go out of business. I just want them to do business correctly, you know. But the reality is this: I, at the end of the day, I honestly don't give a shit about any of them. Real talk. I don't wish them to go out of business, but if you were to tell me that what Wasserman is going to do is going to put everybody out of business, but it's going to put boxing at the forefront, make boxing a major sport in the United States again, I'm all for it. Sorry, Eddie Hearn, you can go get a 9 to 5 if that's what if that's what it takes, you know. And I'm being optimistic. I'm really hoping that that's what happens. What up, UGC Flame, aka Black Horseman, Brown Gone One. Um, but hold on. So, yo, Red, I'm gonna run Brosco in his 45 series again. It's about that time of year. All right. So yeah, y'all make sure y'all check out Brosco and his 4-5. It's a book that Jay Cotto wrote. And he basically has put up to a certain point in audio form on YouTube, absolutely free. So if you're into, if you're into fiction, a good boxing story, check that out. But hold on, I like whoever puts on entertaining fight. Exactly, BG London. My like it's weird because you do hear guys. They want to push PBC so hard. Now, don't get me wrong. If you legitimately feel like a certain platform is putting out better fights, the fights you want to see more than the others, there's nothing wrong with speaking out on that. But some of these guys, they take it way beyond that. They really hope that these other companies go out of business. And like I said, I don't hope they go out of business unless that's what it takes for the sport to do better. Me personally, I think the more competition there is out there, the better it is for us. I think the fans win because that should put the pressure on those companies to give us what we want. But when the fans are like, well, I don't care if you're giving me bullshit fights, I'm going to support you just because you're run by a black man, or just because you're run by a Mexican, or just because you have this guy. So because you have this guy, I hope your whole outfit does good. not anything based on merit, purely based off of stupid shit, then you can obviously see where these guys' alliances lie. Has nothing to do with the sport of boxing. It has something to do with politics or skin politics or just one particular guy, you know. And I think that's not really good for the sport of boxing. Take a look here. Oh, what up, Wooly boy? How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Yeah. And that's the thing. Look at this, right? Okay, so you got a bunch of channels that won't show no love unless you're from the United States. All right. Wooly boy is from Scotland. Comes over here, shows me some support. This is an international sport. All right. Now I've never gone out and said that I'm a hardcore. I honestly don't think I'm a hardcore, but I'm not a casual either. I'm somewhere in between. Okay. You got guys who want to call themselves casuals, but only know about two or three divisions and only know the top guys. If you're gonna call yourself a hardcore, you owe it to the sport to then go and learn about the shit that you don't know. All right, everybody knows there. Anybody who has the slightest interest in boxing knows who Errol Spence, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. Um, they know who all these guys are. Teofimo Lopez, Lomachenko. They know who they are. Um, but when you don't know shit about Inui, Yoka, Frampton, Leo Santa Cruz. Well, Leo Santa Cruz is somewhat known too. I wouldn't put him in there. But these other guys, and I'm not even going deep with those names. There's you could go way deeper. Those names are just on the cusp, you know. Right? When I hear guys say, "Oh, nobody knew who Hellenius was," no, you didn't know who Hellenius was. At one point, Hellenius was considered a force to be reckoned with. So, but that really shows like where a lot of these guys are. What up, Toby Bartlett? My bad, I just saw you. Brian Harkin, what up? The thing is, Castano versus Charlo was a PBC fight for undisputed light middleweight. I really hope this fight happens. Exactly. I hope that happens too. What up, Larone 97? What up, actual facts? But yeah, when it comes to this Wasserman thing, my attitude is it's survival of the fittest. All right. If there's some casualties involved in him getting in the sport of boxing, I don't mind as long as the sport itself still thrives and thrives more. That if he can improve the sport, but have to get rid of, but some of these other companies end up getting going under, I'm cool with that. My understanding is that his main targets is the U.S. and the U.K. So U.S. and U.K. those are two very big markets. Um, And in the US, it's a very untapped market at this time. So, yeah, I mean, go ahead, make the sport popular again. Don't get me wrong, I don't think he's gonna make it what the NFL is. But if he can improve the viewership and the interest in the sport, and let's say Matchroom goes out of business, I'm not gonna lose no sleep. I hope that's not what has to happen in order for the sport to, get more interest in the States. But if that's what has to happen, I'm cool with that. I like Eddie Hearn, but I'm not, I don't support him through thick and thin. I support him through, you know, what he does for the sport. I see some shit talking when it comes to Josh Taylor versus Ramirez. That's one thing I could say. I'm very excited for the potential of a lot of these undisputed fights happening. Brian Harkin, he mentioned Castano versus Charlo. You got Taylor versus Ramirez, AJ versus Fury, hopefully. And I'm pretty sure I'm missing some other ones. But that for a long time we didn't get any undisputed, and it looks like we're finally gonna get it a little bit more frequently. I certainly hope it's the case. I'm not gonna hold my breath on it because it seems like something always happens. you know, Lopez versus Lomachenko happened, and I thought that was gonna be undisputed, and I was wrong. So I mean, that's just the way it is. Like either the fight falls through or the fight happens and somehow somebody gets stripped, somebody takes a franchise elevation, some bullshit happens and it's like, okay, like I'm happy the fight happened, but now we still have questions unanswered. And then the other thing is I want to reign. And like these guys, like Crawford, he became undisputed, never defended it. Now, in my opinion, it's not his fault because if I remember correctly, like just a couple days later, the IBF stripped him. So he's like, "Fuck it, I'm vacating and I'm moving up." Usyk, he became undisputed and defended it once against Tony Bellew. I wish he would have stayed at cruiserweight and would have made some more defenses, you know. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the coming time. What up, Truth Bomb Jake? Hope you're doing well. So hope real soon. Oh, let me make sure everybody who's supposed to have a wrench has one. Give me just a sec. Y'all just bear with me. Yeah, Jake got one. BG London got one. Brown gone one. Just gave you one. I think everybody else got one. Yeah. I don't see anybody else who doesn't have one that should. But yeah, I mean, this live has really become a lot about the fans, I've noticed. And it wasn't supposed to, but it's the truth, you know. White doesn't get credit. Why? Because fans only care about retarded shit. He's not from the US, so he'll never be shit to certain fans. You know, he doesn't he doesn't flash the shit that he buys, so he's not shit to other fans, you know? And then you got these these fans that say that they're all about undisputed, yet they want to talk shit about every single boxer who's either been undisputed or is trying to make undisputed happen. You know, just hypocrisy at its finest. Oh yeah, and then the women. I wasn't even talking about the women, but yeah, Jessica McCaskill. Um, yeah, yeah, and see, Truth Bomb. There's nothing wrong with romanticizing your favorite boxer to an extent, but some of these guys take it way too far. Like, you know how many guys told me, "Oh, AJ, he seems like he got sugar in the tank because he was in a hot tub with some men," which is common when you go to the gym. If you go to the gym and they have a hot tub, typically they don't let the men and women sit in hot tubs together. But then when it comes to Deontay Wilder saying he wants to know what it feels like to carry a baby for 9 months, and he also goes on camera twerking and shit, that's perfectly normal, apparently. Like, fuck out of here. Like, some dudes are they make it so obvious. Your wife, Jessica McCaskill. Oh, BG London got a thing for Jessica. Hey, some of these female boxers, man, some of them, I'm not gonna lie, some of them, some of them look manly. Don't get me wrong, but some of them take good care of themselves. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, it's stupid. Like at the end of the day, as boxing fans, we should just want to see the fights. I do everything I can not to talk about the money. It's hard to do that because when a fight doesn't happen, a lot of times it's because of the money. So it's like, okay, I'm not pocket watching. I just want to see, okay, is it reasonable for this boxer to ask for this amount of money? Is it reasonable? And so to me, that's not pocket watching. But you got guys who, you know, shout out the Blood Boxing. He said it best. He's like, all y'all are talking about that Bud should accept the 80-20. All y'all are broke. Bud got money. You think he's gonna listen to a bunch of broke motherfuckers on the internet? Like, he made a good, valid point. Bud. I mean, he's not. He's by far not making the most money in boxing, but in comparison to what a lot of these guys on the internet are trying to tell him what to do, it's like, you don't take marriage advice from somebody who's been divorced 5 times, right? You don't take advice on how to make money from somebody who don't got money of their own. So I try not to like tell these guys what to do. We're all guilty of it at some point or another, usually. But I try to at least be sensible. And that's the thing. It's like I said, when it comes to the money, I'd rather not talk about it ever. But when a fight doesn't happen, I have to take a look and say, all right, does this make sense? What's in the contract? Because a lot of guys will just oversimplify it to suit their narrative and say, oh, so and so's ducking because they say they want undisputed, but they won't make this fight. And it's like, yeah, expecting him to take 20%, that's ridiculous. Oscar tried that shit with Triple G. He said 90-10. 90-10 split for him to fight Canelo. That's fucking ridiculous. You know? Anybody who's watched me long enough knows I think the bare minimum should be 35. Now some of these guys are willing to take less than that because they're trying to make a name, and they're doing it in hopes that it'll pay dividends and they'll be able to call the shots from that point on. Canelo actually did do that. If I don't like Canelo, but I can give him credit for that. He took B-side twice. Once against Floyd, that didn't pay off because he lost. But he did it against Cotto. He accepted 25% of the purse while Cotto took 75%. But guess what? Since then, he's always the lion's share now. He has not had to take B-sides since then. And that's what a lot of these guys are not willing to do. Now, there's other issues with Canelo that I'm not going to get into because I'm by far not no Canelo fan. But I can at least acknowledge something that he did. You know, sometimes you have to take that pay cut in order to make shit happen. To me, that's what actual betting on yourself is, not that bullshit that Deontay Wilder was talking about. What up, Martin Ramos? We got some boxing talk happening here. What up, that guy? McCasco versus Taylor. My bad. I went to do something on the tablet and I ended up refreshing my page, which kicked me out of the studio. I'm not the most knowledgeable on the women. I try to watch them when I can, but I'm definitely not the one to talk to about women's boxing. I know, Clarissa Shields. I know Amanda Serrano. I know Katie Taylor. But I'm gonna be honest, like I didn't know who this Bermudez chick was, and I'm sure she's one hell of a fighter. Um, I knew who Christina Hammer was, so in regards to when she fought Shields, and I know a little bit about that fight was supposed to happen out earlier, and something happened with Hammer. She had I forget what it was, but for some reason she couldn't take the fight earlier like they were supposed to have it. But the fight. Eventually did happen. So I know a little bit about it, but I'm not the most knowledgeable. Hold on. My bad, Willie boy. I didn't see your question. Hold on. Who you got if Marshall fights Shields? I gotta go with Shields. Um, I can't pick against Shields, really. Like Shields, she's a force to be reckoned with. There's a reason why they call her the GOAT. I'm not particularly a fan of Shields, but it has nothing to do with what she does in the ring. Like I respect her as a boxer. She's one hell of a boxer, and I pretty much can't pick against her. Um, that being said, there's just certain things that I feel certain narratives she tries to push that either she's ignorant to the facts or she knows the facts, but she still wants to make it seem like things are a certain way, and that just has to do with the money. And don't get me wrong, she should want to make as much money as possible. I'm not hating on that. But when you're like trying to call out Eddie Hearn in front of everybody saying, "Are you gonna pay me as much you pay the males?" Well, guess what? There's some males out there you're making more money than. It has nothing to do with your gender. It has to do, well, it kind of does to an extent, but it's not anything that Eddie Hearn has a say so over. You make money based off of the revenue that you generate. Okay. Now, there's a lot of fans that are like myself that don't, it's not that we're not interested in women's boxing. It's not a priority, though. That's my problem. Women's boxing is not a priority. I'll go out of my way to watch men box. Um, Typically, if I watch a women's boxing match, it's because it's on the undercard of of a fight that I was already gonna watch. So that's the thing. If you're not able to generate that revenue, he's not able to pay the payday out. And that's where I have a problem with Clarissa Shields. She puts it on the promoters as if it's their fault that more people are not interested in women's boxing. Now, what she could say is that, I need you to promote my fights to the best of your ability. That way, my next fight, I can make more money than I did this fight. That I have no problem with. But that's not what she does. She wants to make it seem like it's just cut and dry. You pay me less because I'm a woman, and that's not what it is. There's a lot. There's a lot of factors that go into that. And like I said, there's male boxers she's making more money than, but I'm sure she ain't talking about that. Yeah, exactly. We respect her. Um, you know, I don't have a problem with anybody calling her the GOAT. I think GOAT sounds stupid, but I get it. You know, um, it's gonna be hard to come up with something that sounds better than that. If I'm being honest, you know, the fans' consensus is that she's the best woman boxer now. She might even be the best woman boxer ever up to this point. And I can't argue, you know, I'm sure there's people who could argue certain things. I can't because I don't know much about women's boxing, to be honest. I know the very basics on it, but you know, I'm not going to take away from her accomplishments. I think she probably is the best woman boxer ever, if I'm being perfectly honest. But I'm not going to ignore like stupid shit. Like I just think, all right, here's the thing. Yes, some of these men make ridiculous amounts of money, but guess what? Somebody had to make a lot less in order for them to make the money they're making now. It wasn't like this from day one. And if we're being honest here, when it comes to the business side of women's boxing, they are way behind the business side of men's boxing. So naturally, you're going to make less, and it's up to you to pave that way. I know that's not what Shields wants to hear, but that's the honest truth. Fucking Lewis had to give up 10% of his purse for the rest of his career after fighting Braddock. You know, there was a lot of people who got shat on in the past in order for these men to make the money that they're and to get the opportunities that they're afforded now. And that's what he needs to understand is that just like that happened there, it's gonna happen here. And unfortunately, you're gonna get shat on along the way. As much as I hate to say it. Let me take a look at some more comments and I'll probably end it. Yeah, only 5% of boxers make real life changing money. Um, yeah, those are some accomplishments right there. Yeah, and that's the thing. It impresses me. And I'm not saying you said that it doesn't, BG London. I'm just saying those are impressive accolades. Unfortunately, if if the sporting fans don't give a shit, it's not going to get you the money that you want. It's up to you to do what you can to make us give a shit. And I care, but I'm only one person. You're gonna have to capture a whole lot of other people in order to generate that revenue. My point is, you can't put that all on these promoters. They're not paying you less just because you're a woman. They're paying you less because you are a woman who can't generate what some of these guys can. And some of it's society has to change. But in a sport that is already not doing well in the United States, you being a woman, unfortunately, it's like I said, there's nothing wrong with her wanting more money, and she does have impressive accolades. I'm not taking that away from her whatsoever. I am impressed, but you can't oversimplify it. There's more to it than just that. If the people are not buying the tickets, if they're not buying the pay-per-views, you're not generating the revenue. Therefore, they can't pay you money that is not there. And keep in mind, you're not the only one fighting that night. You might be the main event, but everybody else got to get paid too. Like I said, people are going to get shat on along the way. That's just the way it is. Trust me, if I could change it, I would. Every boxer would be making tens of millions of dollars every fight. But that revenue got to be generated. It doesn't just come out of nowhere. Yeah, Katie's marketable. I wouldn't say that Shields is a nightmare. I just think she, I don't know. I think I've said all I can about her, to be honest. When it comes to her issues with the money, I mean that's the reason why boxers like Amanda Serrano, they don't just box, they also do MMA, because MMA is pretty much, when it comes to women's MMA, they're pretty much on par with men's MMA. They pretty much have the same opportunities and everything. Their business isn't anywhere behind the men's MMA business. Um, so Amanda Serrano, she has the ability to thrive in the MMA scene. Therefore, she can supplement her income by taking MMA fights and then taking the fights that she deems worthy in boxing. Yeah. But that's all I got to say. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. But I thank each and every one of you who showed up to listen to me ramble about White, to listen to me ramble about Wasserman, and then it turned into a conversation about Shields and women's boxing, which just led to more rambling. But I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. I didn't even expect it to be this long, but like I said, I got some stuff I got to do. Me and my girlfriend are gonna be heading out in a little bit, but I hope everybody stays safe, be blessed, peace.